success or failure of a company. Getting funding isn't what makes a company successful. It's,
I agree with you.
a value um, added business, right? In profitable business is what makes a company successful.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to make your first million? And today we have a women tech entrepreneur, women in tech. Fantastic. So Elizabeth, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, my name is Elizabeth Andrew. I am a tech entrepreneur. I have been CEO and co-founder of an early stage tech startup, which I sold about 3 months ago. I have been a 3-time VP of sales, 5-time sales leader with 3 exits from technology companies based out of the Silicon Valley, and look forward to the conversation today.
Oh my God. So, hi, Elizabeth. I think that you're a tough cookie, right? Because women in tech doesn't have an easy path, right? Here, the statistics here are actually, we are ashamed of what we are facing worldwide in terms of women in tech. Like 90% of the women in tech, they face a huge challenge to find funding. And so what is it? What the whole fuss about? I think you guys as good and us boys sometimes even better. What happened?
Well, I actually have a very unusual background for technology. I am from the San Francisco Bay Area originally, and when I was early on in my career, in my 20s and early 30s, I was in the investment industry. I started out, ran a call center for a mutual fund company, ended up moving into corporate training and development, and then I ultimately helped Wells Fargo Asset Management build their very first mutual fund company, taking it from
Oh,
zero to $1 billion with a small founding team. And then I was transferred to the Northeast as an investment wholesaler, calling on investment advisors. And I took that region from 0 to 70 million. So I really learned the foundation of building from the ground up early on in my career. What makes my story really unusual is then when I moved east, my family said to me, go for 2 years, have a great time, don't fall in love. I ended up marrying a New York Italian character and took 17 years as a stay-at-home mom. So I ended up returning to the San Francisco Bay Area in 2011. My kids were getting a little bit older. My oldest was starting high school and felt like it was time to return to the workforce. So I launched a career in my late 40s with no tech experience
wow.
the,
Oh
in the
my
San
God, that's
Francisco Bay
impressive.
Area, and have managed to be a 5-time sales leader and a CEO and gone through 3 exits since then. So I oftentimes laugh in the investment industry, particularly in the northeast of the U.S. I was the only woman in the room, calling on it.
I can
Investment
tell.
advisors who were 99.9% white men that looked like my dad. And then in technology, flash forward a couple decades, I was the oldest person in the room in tech.
Wow.
So it's been a fun run.
Yeah, so how does it feel to be different? I interviewed like 6 months ago, and I quote the Minister of Finance of Zimbabwe, right? And he
Okay.
shared this with me. He told me, Harry, you won't believe, but we are giving us more loans to men and women in Zimbabwe so they can grow the vegetables, right? And once they pay back the loans, we lend them more money so they can grow more vegetables. And you won't believe what I'm about to tell you, but we have 80% of the women are paying back the loans versus men. So we are very happy to lend to women as the government. That was told by me by the finance minister of Zimbabwe. So apparently, it seems that you girls are better than us looking after money
No
and what
surprises
the
there.
data said, right? So why the whole fuss about why the VC, the venture capitalists and everything are making it so tough for women in tech. I think could be that maybe because the people that takes all these decisions, they are males.
Well, it goes a lot further than that. I think people put a lot of weight on VC funding. I don't necessarily think that the
I agree.
success or failure of a company getting funding isn't what makes a company successful. It's,
I agree with you.
a value added business, right? In profitable business is what makes a company successful. But, this is something that unfortunately, decades ago when I was investment wholesaling and I was the only woman in the room and, there was nobody there was no diversity at all of any sorts in finance, right? And so technology, certainly in California, there's a lot more diversity than there was. But if you ever have looked at really started out from like the McKinsey study, women in the workplace, the numbers are dire. If you look at women on corporate boards, there was a period of time that 20% of the Fortune 500 companies had zero women representation. Last I checked, there was at least one woman on every board, but that, it should be 50-50, right? So
yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
no, we're actually not, to be honest. We're kind of moving backwards since the
Really?
pandemic.
Backwards? Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah,
Here
yeah.
in London, for example, Sophie, the president of Facebook, is women. So, but I think we let's be honest, we see a very little progress. So still something is going on, and we don't know what is it, right? Because look at you, it's very impressive what you have achieved. Yeah, we're gonna talk about this later on. Yeah, no more than one exit, like 3 exits in the tech industry, which is a nightmare. I'm telling you because I invest in tech, so I know from A to Z what's going on, and it's difficult. Do you think that actually the success, and let's dig deep, because what we found the problem that we find it in tech companies is that there's greatest software developers, right? They create this amazing product, they patent it, they think that they're gonna change the world with that, right? And they don't realize that this is only 20% of the equation, that sales and marketing is gonna make the other 80, right? And do you think that your background in sales and marketing is the key of your success, of your exits?
I think I think that it certainly helps. Working in Silicon Valley, I've worked for a lot of genius CEOs as a sales leader, and they all think the product is going to sell itself. It never does. It requires selling, and I won't go work for a CEO who hasn't sold their product themselves.
Oh, well, fantastic. Great.
If they come from the technical or product side, right? So, it certainly helps. I think really what the key to my success has been is really learning early on that playbook. Call it a sales playbook, but it was really a playbook of creating a roadmap for success. And so that's something that I have used not only early in my career, taking a region from 0 to 70 million. It helped me in relaunching my career and getting back into the workforce. I was totally unemployable. Nobody would even talk to me.
Tell me about it. After being so many years working home mom, and this is huge, yeah. So then, Elizabeth, tell us the truth, yeah. How tough is to convince these boys that they have this amazing tech product, that if they don't sell the product and they don't put 80% of the energy in marketing and sales, they have nothing? How tough is to talk with this boy to actually bring them to reality? Or do you find it easy? Can you
Are you
persuade?
talking about the CEOs?
Eh?
Are
Yeah,
you talking about
the CEOs, the founders,
Well,
because
I
we
think
have
if
in
you
tech, let's face it, we see two things in tech general. We see some companies, right? That what they do is they analyze the market first. They see that it's an opportunity. They see that there are a certain amount of people that they're willing to buy and pay for the product. and then they go back and develop the product and sell it to this market. Yeah, this is scenario number A, which is amazing. But we see more the scenario number B. We see more a lot of tech guys that go out there, develop an amazing software. They think they're going to change the world with the software without even knowing that it's going to take 80% of the effort, money, time, energy, and resources to actually make this product market fit. And have you have all the companies that you have worked with, it had been in the case number 1 or case number 2?
Yeah, I mean that I've worked for both, but you know, I think to answer your question in terms of like what whether it's easy or not, you know, I think you just look at the data, right? If you look at and it doesn't, this is not gender specific. I mean, if you look at most early stage founders, the biggest and most expensive mistake they make is in their early sales hires, right? They either hire somebody they bring in a VP of sales too early when they haven't gotten any of the traction on their own as a founder. And, you know, the average tenure of a first VP of sales in an early stage company is about 9 months. You know, and I've worked for companies where I've been the 3rd or 4th sales leader, you know, obviously the problem isn't sales in that situation.
Yeah. So which advice do you have for women in tech out there that is finding that their voice is not being heard and they feel frustrated and they think that they are in an environment that is biased because there is no enough representation for them? What do you have to, what message do you have for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important that, you know, and to the point earlier in this conversation, the pandemic was a big setback. If you look at the data from McKinsey's study and Lean In, which was Sheryl Sandberg, they do in conjunction, you know, the women in the workforce, right? And the numbers have dropped in C-suite roles. A lot of women, a lot of senior technologists that I know are opting out. They're tired. They're done with it. And they're becoming entrepreneurs and wanting to do their own thing, right? So women are dropping out more than men out of the industry now. And, you know, with the pandemic and kids being home, you know, it impacted the women professionals more than men. You know, my big thing that I always advise people, the single most important thing in any job, happiness, is who you report directly to. You know, even if you're a CEO, who's your VC? Like whoever you're reporting directly to will make or break your job in terms of happiness. It's not the product, it's not the team, it's whether or not you feel supported or not feel supported, right? So, you know, I tell people to really seek out their manager or their leader who that they're going to work for, you know, and almost look for that when you're trying to develop your career. The second thing is making a plan, you know, and really creating a roadmap for yourself to map out your career in order to take it to the next level.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.